Thank you for joining us. In this episode, we're going to cover Deadpool 2. We're going to compare it to the first one, talk about some of the jokes, see if they landed, the performances, and more in episode 41 of the Reel-ists Podcast. Thanks for listening, Team Reel-ists. I am Oscar.
I'm Donnie.
And we have our producer, Ruben.
Hello.
And we're just going to be just like Deadpool in this episode and break the fourth wall. And I don't know how. I think I think we already have.
Are we already doing that?
I think so, right? But yes, thank you everyone for listening. Just want to always mention, to spread the word. Review us on iTunes if you have a chance. If you don't use iTunes as your source for listening to us, definitely comment on one of our social medias. Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, Team Reel-ists. You know how to spell it. We've said it all the other episodes.
We done said it 41 times now, so if you ain't got it down by now.
There's a pop quiz if you need to do that. But yes, we'd really appreciate that. And we'll get right down to the nitty-gritty. We'll get straight to Deadpool 2 review.
Right into it. Why not?
You know how I love to start it off, Donnie?
Get into it.
Is that with the 2? Are you playing with the 2 there?
I wasn't, but...
Okay. I thought you were. But let's start with the biggest question. Your quick thoughts about this movie.
Deadpool 2. I liked it, generally. I thought it was obviously, it's going to be a lot of humor, a lot of, fourth wall breaking, a lot of Deadpool being Deadpool and just, saying whatever's on his mind. So I liked that aspect of it. It was... really just an entertaining film to watch, a funny film to watch, and laughing at a lot of the jokes. I don't know that I necessarily liked it more than the first one. If anything, they're about the same for me.
It's like a continuation of just one single Deadpool.
Yeah. It's not like this one. Sad to say, it's not like Deadpool 2 was like, oh my God, way better than the first one. Some sequels do that, and some sequels are like, oh, the first one, the original one was the better one.
Right.
So I'm kind of in between. They're about the same for me, and I like the first one a little bit better. That's kind of the spot I'm in between. It's not to say this one was bad. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I definitely understand where you're coming from. I enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed the comic bookness of the references, the jokes that were being thrown out there. The storyline itself wasn't necessarily that interesting, of taking care of the boy or rescuing the boy.
Yeah, and that's
spoiler alerts.
Spoiler alert. Sorry guys. Oh my God, don't spoil it. I think if we're talking about the interest in the plot, I was way more invested in the first one in terms of the plot, because in terms of the storyline, because my experience watching these films is different, because I didn't really have a reference to who Deadpool was, or I didn't really know about him. When we watched the first one, you knew who Deadpool was. A lot of people that saw this film knew who Deadpool was, and then you had people like me who didn't really know who this Deadpool character you guys speak of is. So when I watched the first one, I was really into it because I was wanting to know about him, and I was learning his humor and learning how he operates and acts, and it was really fresh, and it was really something I hadn't seen before. So I think going into the second one, I knew what to expect, and I don't want to say that that's a bad thing, but it took away some of the. It was kind of like I knew what to expect, so I didn't get anything super new or something fresh.
There was, and
like you kind of said, kind of like a continuation of the first one, but one of the main one of the main things to this one was they were trying to protect this adolescent mutant.
Save the future, yeah.
So I don't know. It was kind of random. To me, it was kind of random. I was like, oh, is this what this was what this one's gonna be about?
Yeah, it looked like at first it started off with it might be just a joke about oh, here's saving one kid. He's because to cover what's going on, Deadpool has officially quote unquote joined the X-Men. He's in training. This like their first mission. So yeah, I could see where you didn't think like this was gonna be an actual like storyline. You just thought this was gonna be.
I thought it was just gonna be like a scene, like
a little joke moment. Yeah.
And he was gonna maybe be like, "Oh, this is what we do. Oh, I'm not doing this," or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that was kind of like the whole, like throughout the entire film, like one of the main missions to
protecting
save
the future. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was.
I mean, there were a few elements that were brought into this movie that helped it. I think Cable coming into this and Domino, both of those characters were really.
I liked Domino. She was really.
Yeah, her power. I want her power.
She was dope. What's her powers like? Of
just
luck.
Just being lucky.
She's just lucky. So pretty much like
nothing can
she can go to the ladder, the casino, and like hit big.
Pretty much.
She wants to. Yeah, that'd be a dope power to have.
Right.
Would love that. I'd be at the casino all the time. Oh, no, maybe not all the time, because then they get suspicious.
Oh, then they
like, how are you gonna win? You can't.
But your power is luck, though, so you will never be in a bad situation.
Yeah.
Like even for her, when she was falling from the vehicle, she fell right into like a panda, an air-filled panda balloon, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, that was a cool power. They made the power very interesting. Yeah. It could have been simply just like boring, but they, as Deadpool says, they made it cinematic. Speaking of the jokes, I know. The jokes are very same on par from Deadpool 1, Deadpool 2. Personally, I liked the references more to the comic book world. Like there was DC Universe jokes, there was Marvel jokes,
there was some Disney jokes.
There was Disney, yeah. There was jokes in relations to the comic book world and to pop culture overall.
Right.
Like the James Bond sequence, title sequence with Cher's song playing. Did anything you feel was something that they learned from the first one? Because the first one had the same kind of jokes, but it was less than that. There was more jokes about that kind of gags and those themes in the second one than the first one. Did you feel the jokes landed better than the first one? Now that you knew his character, now that you understood what kind of jokes he's going to throw at you, did you feel like, okay, now you're keeping an eye on like, what's the next good joke he's going to throw out?
Yeah, no, I definitely, knowing after seeing the first one and knowing like this film is going to be full of jokes because that's how his character is, it definitely like made me pay attention more. And most of them did land. I mean, there were some pretty funny ones, but there were a couple that I don't know, maybe I just didn't get, or I was just like, maybe they just didn't land. But also too, I feel like there was, let me ask you, do you think that there was more comedy and more jokes in this one as opposed to the first one? I know that there were different jokes. Like you said, there were more pop culture reference, more Marvel, Disney, DC jokes. But was there more? I felt like there was like, it was like a joke, like a couple jokes too many that they were trying to just throw in.
That's true. Yes, I could see that being as a con.
But at the same time, I kept having to think back to, okay, this is Deadpool. Like that's what.
Right.
That's how the first one was, and they want to up the ante and keep it coming, so they're going to keep coming with the
first
humor
one
and the comedy.
Was it was less because they were establishing his personality, and there were times where he was going through something else that he really couldn't, be humorous, I guess you could say, like, his times with Vanessa and the times he was becoming the mutant that he has, powers that he has.
Mm-hmm.
So there were times that he wasn't able to land the jokes because of the situation he was in. But once he actually got like his, I don't know what like burnt like face, I guess, whatever you want to call that.
Yeah.
Once that became part of the story, then those jokes started becoming more. From that point forward, if you watch Deadpool, the jokes are there the same way that they're in the second one.
Right.
They were more jokes. They were jokes that were more, how do I say, thought of, I felt like, than the second one. The second one was just more of like, let's make a reference to this. Oh, let's make a reference.
It was
to
like
this.
Like anything's up for grabs here.
Yeah. So that's to me. I liked the jokes in the second one. It's just the action stuff is what I was disappointed in mostly.
Like a lack of.
I don't know if it was a lack of or just not intriguing enough.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly the third act. The third act, I did not care, and I don't know if it's like a bad development of the kid that I didn't care for. It wasn't. I don't even know if that was the case. It wasn't that I didn't care about the kid. It was just that I didn't really care about Deadpool being a hero or doing that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying.
I loved the.
I was still like, okay, are we just like forgetting about Vanessa? Like, I was, because once she died
in the beginning.
She died in the very beginning. So I was thinking like, he's gonna like go like be on a rampage to seek out vengeance. I mean, he did kill the guy who killed her. So,
but that was it. But
I thought it was gonna be like, I don't know. I guess from that moment on, I thought it was gonna be him trying to.
That would have been back-to-back films where it was about Vanessa, had it done that. Because the first one was about rescuing Vanessa and falling in love with Vanessa, and this one would have been about avenging
avenging her. Yeah, I mean, but it is the love of his life.
That's perfect.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but I just kind of felt like, okay, are we just moving on? Like, we're forgetting? Like, she's...
It did seem like they were kind of just like...
I was like, now it's all about... His name is Collins, right? Or it was
Russell.
The kid?
The kid.
Firefist?
I believe Firefist, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was like, it's all about him now.
Yeah, and there was, Vanessa and Negasonic Teenage Warhead. She got less screen time.
I do not like that name. Can we shorten that? It's Negasonic Teenage Warhead?
Yeah.
Can we say like NTW or...
You can call it whatever you want.
Can I just call her Teenage War? Can I just call her Warhead?
You can call her beautiful. She was.
The love of my life. No, I'll just stick with
Oscar's girl. Whatever you need to.
Okay. I didn't know you had your ironer like that. Okay.
I liked her more in her appearance more in this one than the first one.
Mm-hmm.
The first one she felt she looked more like a teenager, and this one felt like she was becoming
too
more
adolescent.
Yeah,
the last one
becoming a little bit more of like a young woman.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the actress's age is. The real life actress's age. I think she's in her 20s.
Probably 22.
Something like that. That's what
with your streak lately.
That's been my streak. But yeah, no, I think the jokes, I can understand where the jokes can come off as too much. And that goes for all comedy movies, where it's like, at what point can we stop with the joke, get the plot going, and then land the joke?
Yeah.
I just thinking of like the movies that we saw, Blockers and Daddy's Home 2, all these movies that we've seen recently that have been comedy based. Life of the Party. Some of them, yeah, I can see where it's just like, okay, I get that we're supposed to laugh, but
yeah,
you really cannot have anyone laugh nonstop from beginning to end. That's really hard.
Yeah, and you can't have everybody laughing.
Only in comedy, like stand-ups. Like that's maybe like the only time where you might be able to.
It's hard. It's hard to really like have material that will really land and resonate with everyone and have everyone just like laughing so hard at it, because like there's different senses of humor, and some like some references people might not pick up on or know, so they won't know that's funny,
Yeah.
So it's tough, but I think it was good. I think overall it was really good, and like I think overall the level of comedy, the caliber of comedy was there. It wasn't like great. It could have been a little better, or some of the jokes could have landed more, but I think overall it did a good job.
Yeah. I really just go back to the action that disappointed me more so. One of the things, as great as it was a twist when he got his members that he recruited and they all died
in
the next sequence, as funny as it was disappointing.
Yeah.
Because I knew they weren't coming back for the rest of the film.
Dang.
And only one person remained, and that was Domino. But like it was hilarious. I was laughing.
She was lucky.
Because she was lucky, exactly. But yeah, it's just like, that was what it was intriguing me during the trailers. And I found out later, reading about it, that they intentionally filmed scenes for the trailer about like the other heroes that they were recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
But they never were going to have them actually do anything in the movie. It literally was, they recruit them and they die in the next sequence.
Oh, okay.
But the trailer has them to have like some action scenes from them. And that was filmed just for the trailers. And I was like, oh, that was misleading, which... Given that it's Deadpool.
Is this what this article was saying? Deadpool 2 was a triumph of misleading marketing.
To some extent,
that was from Forbes.
I never saw the Swan.
I didn't read that article.
There was, if you've seen the poster, there's a picture poster of like him on a like pool with the swan. I didn't see no swan in the movie.
Right.
So yeah, there was little things like that. But Cable's introduction, Domino's introductions, they were welcome additions to the Deadpool franchise.
And Cable's like, obviously, in the trailer it made it seem like he was
the main bad guy,
the main villain, like from start to finish, like, and it was gonna like either Deadpool was gonna live or he was gonna live, but one of them was gonna die, and like, but like they ended up teaming up, like
which is accurate. That's how they're buddies in the
comics.
book. Yeah.
Okay.
They play
so
off
then
each other.
so like that probably wasn't a shock to you, but I was like, oh, okay, they're teaming up, cool.
Yeah. I figured they weren't gonna play him as a villain for much of it. I figured like it was gonna be like he came with his own idea, but then you realized,
he seemed more like I said. I mean, the trailer made it seem like he was just full of evil and just pure villainous, but in the movie he really wasn't. And he had a kind of a good reason as to why he was doing what he was doing. I mean, he was trying to
save
his family.
Family, yeah.
So
was it just the family? I don't think he ever said like I'm trying to save the future. It was I'm trying to save my.
I'm trying to save my family. I don't care about the future. I don't care what's gonna happen with y'all. But
they really, I realize that now that it was just the family. He never said anything about like the future is in danger.
Yeah, it was just
when it looked in danger, like the place he was in. That was crazy. We have to talk about it because it was probably one of the biggest laughs as well. Was the post-credit scenes?
Yes.
I just thought of so many things that they can do with the Deadpool going back in time to stuff. Like once I saw that he got the time travel device, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
And then they
I mean, obviously one of the biggest laughs from the whole film was when he shot himself, Ryan Reynolds, when he was looking at the Green Lantern script. That was just like genius.
It hurt because
you loved that movie?
No, I didn't love the Green Lantern movie. It was just it was like, I know that was a DC movie that failed to some extent, and it failed to. Well, one, I mean, it was not done the way it could have been. That would have reached the audience. I think they shortened it to the point where it was just like you're like, okay, yeah, I don't buy this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like the movie is not bad. If you watch the movie is good for 2/3 of it. It's that final act that just throws everything off. That, and also he wasn't on the planet of Green Lanterns.
I also remember being really confused because that movie came out around the same time that the Green Hornet came out or something.
Yeah,
I was like, and this was when I wasn't into superhero films at all, knew nothing about any superhero comics. So I'm like, Green Lantern, Green Hornet, I don't know, like, or is this the same film? Are you guys trying to trick me? What's going on? I was really confused at the time. I don't think that helped.
We'll talk about that afterwards, I guess. I was gonna, because I know you're mentioning both Greens, and now the one that's comparing to that right now is Mowgli and Jungle Book. Mowgli's gonna be Warner Brothers Jungle Book adaptation, but people right now are saying, well, Disney just did that 2 years ago. That's a whole nother topic. It's just about Deadpool. But you're talking about like two Greens. It's very similar to like that situation that it's in. It's like
I hate it when
the general audience can get confused very easily. It's like, is this Jungle Book 2? Like, what is this like?
Yeah, man, there was another film that did that kind of did that. I'm trying to think of it. It's like on the tip of my brain.
But we'll save that for next week.
I know. Maybe that can be like what we discussed when
that'll be our
opposing studios are like coming out with kind of very similar projects and
giving sneak peeks.
Yeah, that's it. Oh my God, he read my mind. Snow White when they did
Mirror,
and then they did the Snow White and the Huntsman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, really? Like, okay, one's like this, like, comedic, like, kind of family one with Julia Roberts, and then one's like this kind of darker, more like for adolescent teen, young adult with Kristen Stewart. Yeah, wow. Our producer is on it. He's like reading our minds now.
He's picking up.
For real. Thank you very much, Ruben, because that was like
41 episodes. He's getting the hang of what he has to do.
That was on the I was like, I know it's right there. It's right there. I remember it.
Yeah, those it happens. It happens.
We can get more into it later.
But rewinding it back to Deadpool, I guess, ultimately, what was the one thing that stood out to you for Deadpool 2? That maybe Deadpool 1 didn't do, or maybe Deadpool 2 did better than Deadpool 1? Or just Deadpool, whatever you want to call it. I realize I'm saying 1.
Like what stood out to me for this one?
Yeah. Was it? I mean, could it be the post credit scene of them going back to saving Vanessa? Now she's technically alive.
I mean, that whole.
It's canon. That's canon. So she is alive.
Yeah, I mean that whole post credit scene was like I think that was a really, really well done post credit scene, and I think that really got us amped and really excited, and obviously made me happy to know that she is alive. And going forward, I can like, okay, she didn't die. Like,
Then what was this whole movie for?
Yeah, so then it's like, but then it's like, okay, so if we're doing that, then did all of this never happen, or like how are we, I mean, like, because we could argue that like he went back and like none of this happened, but anyways, that was like that was probably the biggest takeaway from the film, that post credit scene. She's alive. I think this film really got me excited because I've been reading articles and they're saying, they don't know if there's like this might be the last Deadpool film, and they might go forth with the X-Force film. So, yes. Obviously, I mean, I think that this film kind of established some of that and was getting us ready for some of that. So I mean, I'm really looking forward to that. If that whatever it happens, if there is a Deadpool 3, but it doesn't sound like there's gonna be, right? I mean,
and until that Disney 20th Century Fox thing
come to it,
once that concludes, then they'll have a better idea as to whether they can or whether Disney's gonna be like, yep, nope.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's what's holding it. It's not because they don't want to do it or because the studio doesn't have confidence it will succeed. It's just they don't know what's gonna go on with that.
Yeah.
So. I mean, the thing is that they're pushing forward the X-Force if everything goes well, though. So it might be like X-Force and then a Deadpool 3. Yeah. But the thing is, an X-Force is going to have Deadpool in it, so he's going to be like an Iron Man kind of character.
Yeah, it's going to... Yeah, so then... it might need... Yeah, so it's like... It's like they're either going to do one or the other, right? Like they're either going to... Okay, let's do Deadpool again, wrap it up, and then switch over to X-Force? Or is it
they might do X-Force first. They might... have that break of Deadpools and then kind of really think of it as like Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, Avengers, and then Iron Man 3. Yeah. Kind of think of it like that.
Okay. I mean, I was cool with that, obviously, because Iron Man's my favorite. I know,
so
I know we're talking about... Huh?
It worked.
Yeah, it works. Yeah, it works. I mean, but I
look at us. Deadpool making references to others, and we're making references to other movies in the review for Deadpool. How ironic. But yeah, no, it is going to be interesting to see. Personally, I want to see more of Deadpool, but I don't know if I want it in the movie dose. Like, I feel like I'm okay with maybe getting like an animated series or like specials. I don't know if you remember when it was like right in between, what movie? I forgot. Was it Logan? I think it was Logan. They did a little short where he was supposed to save someone from dying, but he had to go change. And he was struggling to change in the booth, in the telephone booth. By the time he got out, the guy was dead. You remember that short? Mm-hmm. Stuff like that, I feel like work well for Deadpool. I don't know if I would want a whole another movie with him being the star. X-Force makes sense where he's not the main star, but he's in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if I would want a Deadpool 3. I feel like Deadpool 1, brought something new to the table in terms of the movie industry
and established how he became Deadpool, who he was,
and then Deadpool 2 had a little bit more fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I would want a Deadpool 3. I still have a tough decision whether saying Deadpool or Deadpool 2 was my favorite. Ultimately,
I think I did like Deadpool 1 more than this one,
which is fair.
I think I did.
I don't know.
Not to say this one was bad. I think I got more out of the first one. I'm all about origin stories. You know me. I love seeing like how someone got to where they are. And even the whole process physiologically that he went through to become Deadpool, all the like torture and stress that his body had to go under, like that whole sequence, and them injecting the serum into him, and like that whole thing was like really cool to watch. Like I remember I was pretty into it, and it was like pretty like some of it was like kind of gruesome too, but I was like, but I was like, I don't know, I like whenever they have like there's like scientific like underlinings happening, and they're like explaining things and kind of like walking you through
sci-fi
stuff, like that kind of whole sci-fi element, medical element that they throw in. Like I'm really into that kind of stuff. So you get that in the first one, and this one not so much.
Well, to me the thing.
I mean, that's just one of the many reasons why I really do like the first one.
Yeah, which is understandable.
So,
to me though, I like it when the character's been established, because the actors is comfortable with the character now. Like a lot of times the first movies, the actors are still trying to find out who the character is. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times it's like very I don't want to say protective, but like there's a very soft approach to taking the character. And it's not until the movie's done and then the sequels and they get more. Like, I think Iron Man's a good example. I like, as the more comfortable he's gone with the roles, the more you can see him landing his jokes a little bit better than the first one. The first one didn't have as many jokes. But that was just because, Robert Downey Jr. was not really familiar with it. And you can say that for all the Avengers, every movie that has an origin, kind of the first one and then the second one.
Yeah.
The performances for the second one is a little bit more comfortable for them. So for that reason, the performances for the jokes for the second one, I enjoyed. I really did. I'm trying to just wrap around why the plots didn't stick for me. And this is coming from the director of John Wick, one of the two directors, but they delivered great action sequences in John Wick. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of just like I was expecting that to also roll into that. That would have just made it a perfect combination. I have not seen that movie. John Wick. Yeah, it's a very good movie. It's a very good action.
I've heard that before. Have you seen John Wick, Ruben? Mm-hmm. No? Okay. No. You're not. I've been told that that's a really good film.
Yeah, I have them.
Okay.
So that's what we're going to cover next week. Just kidding. But no, yeah. So it's kind of hard. It's like that. The action is what is making it hard, because I like the action in the first one than the second one.
Yeah.
But I think everything else I liked in the second one than the first one. Vanessa, unfortunately, her dying early was a sad thing to see, not be part of the movie, because I know that kind of helps, like, Deadpool really be motivated and, interested. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like, I feel like the newcomers that came in did a good job of not making Vanessa feel too missed. Like, yeah, she was missed for the romantic side of it, but I feel like the two new characters helped balance Deadpool's craziness and humor. So
right.
I would say as of right now, if I had Deadpool and Deadpool 2 in front of me that I can choose which one I want to watch, I don't know if it's because I just saw Deadpool 2, but I probably would choose Deadpool 1 for now. Mm-hmm. But maybe with time I might open up to Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
But with all that being said, what is your real score for Deadpool 2?
I am going to give Deadpool 2... I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5.
3 hours later.
I know. Boom, 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 boom. Still making noise over here.
3 out of 5.
3 out of 5 reels. Great film. Funny AF. Had some cool action scenes. Introduced us to some new characters that we liked. I don't know why I couldn't say that. I was trying to think of something. Introduced us to some new characters that I liked, and brought back some other characters, older characters that we liked. His friends, obviously. Yep. Some of the funnier scenes are with their friends, with Deadpool's friends, because they're just like everyday average people. Like there's not, like one's like a taxi cab driver and the other one is
a
bartender. So it's like, it's just so, it's cool that like he still maintains it, like even though he's this like quote unquote superhero,
he's an assassin. That's first and foremost, he's an assassin.
Yeah, actually, yes, that's correct. But he still has these two friends that are just like normal dudes. But they're funny. They're really funny. But anyways, the cast was great. The characters are great. The comedy's good. And I was into it. I wasn't super into it, like on the edge of my seat or anything, but I was into it. And it was a solid film, and I think a pretty good sequel to the first one. So 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5, only because it did everything I wanted it to. Watching it, my expectations. The only thing that it failed on expectations was action, but everything else, I really think it nailed it right for me to enjoy a sequel. Mm-hmm. There's just more of just like the little nitpicky things that I would be like, okay, so was that needed? Was that really like some of the jokes where I was like, okay, I get what they're trying to make a joke out of, but I feel like it was just like something they come up with and like, oh sure, let's just put that in there. Like one of the examples, the Frozen song. That little like, why does it sound so familiar to whatever other movie it was? Like, I understood the reference, I get the joke, but I was just like, do you really need that joke in this movie? Like, I feel like there could have been a better joke to tell. And I loved the surprises, though. the X-Force dying in their first mission, the cameos of the X-Men.
Yeah, that was cool.
That quick cameo, that was nice. Little things like that. The post-credit scenes was a fun thing to watch. Him going back to save everyone, killing the original Deadpool from X-Men Origins. I don't like the Green Lantern. I like the diss to DC movies. That wasn't bothering me. Just that Green Lantern one, because I was like, what should have been great.
I know. You're like seeming really broken up about
Yeah,
it.
because that was supposedly going to be DC's start for their film franchise, but then it bombed. So then they scrapped their plans, and then they did Man of Steel. So then that's what led Zack Snyder to taking his chance.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, had Green Lantern succeeded, we probably would have got a whole different DC universe than what we have. And as right now, it's not off to its best start. So,
okay.
I guess that joke was like a little.
Yeah, it's really personal and runs very close to home with you.
But everything else, the first one to me, the Deadpool, I have a better score for that one than this one. But yeah, 4 out of 5 is my score.
Sweet.
So hopefully it matches everyone's score. Hopefully, in between Donnie and my score, maybe better, maybe worse. You can always feel free to share us our thoughts. But thank you so much for listening to this episode, everyone.
Yeah, catch us next time, guys.
Thank you.